welcome everyone to the High Performance Success Podcast. Our guest today is Dave Seymour, the CEO of Freedom Ventures. He started 80s flipping Boston for over 5 seasons. So I want to welcome Dave here as our guest on the High Performance Success Podcast. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, Jason, how are you, man? It's good to be with you, brother. Good to be with you. It's a good day in the neighborhood for sure.
It's great to be with you too, Dave. And I wanted to start off with just letting you tell a little bit about your backstory and how you got involved in real estate investing, kind of your journey, just to give people a perspective on that.
Yeah, look, man, it's my favorite subject, me. Look, it's interesting. I get to do podcasts and teach and share experience, strength, and hope quite often. And it's always a good opening dialogue, right? Tell me about your journey. Where did you start, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, I had a typical, I think a typical background. I wasn't raised in a wealthy family. I have a very bizarre accent. And the reason my accent is bizarre is because I was born in London. I was raised in England, emigrated to the States back in '86 when I was just 20 years old, following my first wife along the way. But I was bred with a work hard ethic, right? My father would say to me, do a solid 8 hours, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, be a man among men, a worker among workers, treat women right, be a gentleman, like good foundational stuff. But none of that related to wealth. It didn't relate to, high performance success. Right. Let's use the topic of the podcast. Yep. Broke people teaching people how to be broke. And I don't mean that in a detrimental way, Jason. It wasn't moral. It wasn't, oh, you're broke, so you're a butthole. It wasn't anything like that. It was just learning what was shared through the generations. So school was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't excel as a student. But I look back at it today, and there was for me a discomfort or a dysfunction. Like I was always uneasy. I can't remember being content as an employee. I just can't remember it. Right. I just can't. And I brought broke financial education with me from England. And again, please don't take it as a moral judgment. It's not. I love my father. I love my background. I love my history, but it didn't set me up for financial freedoms or successes. It taught me how to get a job, right? Kind of like the education system of today. And I come to America and, I'm trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And, I moved around a little bit. I was in New York City for a while, which was really cool. Then I moved from there to West Virginia, which was different to New York City. We'll just leave it at that for all the West Virginians that listen to the podcast. I lived in Wheeling, by God, West Virginia, right in the middle of the Rust Belt in the late '80s, early '90s. And, it was an interesting time. But anyway, I eventually moved up to where I am today, which is up in New England. I'm now in the Boston market. And, lived life, tried to figure it out, took a number of different jobs, and eventually a buddy of mine said to me, why don't you test for the fire department, give that a go? And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I could be a firefighter. I'm a guy's guy. I like the chaos. I like the adrenaline rush. And that's what I did. I joined the Lynn Fire Department here in Massachusetts, just north of Boston, and served 16 years. But again, I brought my broke mentality with me, right? MasterCard and Visa were my best friends. They were my ex-wife's best friends. I was really good at spending it. I wasn't good at managing it. I didn't understand the difference between an appreciating and a depreciating assets. I was all about cars, boats, and leather coats, as a friend of mine used to put it. Keeping up with the Joneses, getting a new car, the biggest depreciating asset in the marketplace. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's worth more money than it was when you bought it 10 minutes ago. Like I didn't know any of that stuff, man. And it put me in a position where I bought financial illiteracy into a world that required financial literacy. And what I mean by that is the only way I knew how to make more money was to trade more time. That's all I knew how to do. So 48 hours in the fire department, then another 24 to 30 hours on my days off working construction, and then another 25, 30 hours nights and weekends working retail security of all things. And if you do the math, that comes out to about 100, 120 hours a week trading time for somebody else's money. Now, there's a consequence to pay for that. And the consequence was the failure of a second marriage. The consequence of that was my inability to be with the people that I loved. I couldn't be a good father to my then 8-year-old son. And it was an absolute crap show, man. It was tough. Working fires and paramedicine in a city, it was like everything was negative. Like it was just a rough environment to be in. And I met my now wife, Mary Beth, when I was doing my paramedic training at the fire department. She was a labor and delivery nurse at the hospital. And we got together and I knew that I had to do something different. And I'd worked construction as I shared with you. And I remember, tell me if you resonate with this at all, or any of the listeners do. I remember I was working on a job site, and I think I was on a post hole digger trying to get down to the frost line because we were putting a deck on this house. And this car pulled up. It was in the winter time. It was cold. It was wet. It was muddy. This car pulls up, really nice car. I think it was a Beamer or something like that. And 3 people got out of it. A really good-looking lady was driving, and 2 guys in good-looking clothes. They had tans, shiny watches, big fat smiles on their faces. I hated them. I couldn't stand them. I hated it just looking at them. And I said to one of the guys, "Who's that?" He goes, "Oh, those are the real estate investors. They own this project." And I'm like, "What? They're not covered in mud?" You know what I mean? And I asked them a few questions. I realized they weren't that smart. And it planted a seed for me that day that there was a different way to play this game. And I ended up at a real estate seminar, and I invested money that I didn't have in my real estate training and education. And I became a student, and I just grabbed it, man. I grabbed a hold of this thing with a vengeance, because I was desperate enough to figure out something different. And that's how it all started, man. A simple kid from the south of England who ended up going to a seminar, got it done, got the attention of A&E Network. I got the attention of the Attorney General's office here in Massachusetts. During the crash, I was recognized for my distressed asset investing systems. And we've been on a pretty cool journey since then. So I think that gives you some feel and idea of it. It's been it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's not an event. You know what I mean? A lot of people think wealth, right? A lot of people think wealth creation's an event. It's a process. It takes time and commitment and energy and education and teamwork. And I'm in a good place today. So anyway, that's the short version. I'll give you the long version next time.
No, that's perfectly fine. So tell us what major challenges you overcame when you got started with real estate investing, and name a couple of the major challenges you overcame.
Yeah, my own brain. That's my first major challenge. That was it. 6 inches of detrimental thinking between my ears, right? Coming from, an environment that was structured one way, trading time for money, like I said, it was very hard to step into this new, almost like a new personality. And I don't want to get too out there with it, Jason, but it was, it was the butterfly and the chrysalis type stuff. It's like, I would practice my elevator pitches in the mirror. "Hi, I'm Dave Seymour. I'm a full-time real estate investor. We're able to buy low income, and offer great rates of return." You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, I know what you mean. I do that myself. So yes, I know.
Yeah.
I do that myself. So I know what you mean.
And it's funny. Do you have this as well? I feel like I've even today, like I've got the angel and the devil on the shoulders, and the angel's going, "Yeah, you're crushing it," and the devil goes, "You suck. You suck." you're just a big bull in a china shop, like your mother said you were. You're never going to admit to anything. And the angel goes, shut up, devil. He's awesome. He can do this. Like you've got this yin and
Yeah, I
yang
know. You got the yin
24/7.
and yang, you always fighting the
Uh,
two voices to really push
yeah.
yourself into always get better and always to knowing it's a process and just have humility with it and knowing where God's taking you into a better place, no
You
matter
got it.
sometimes you don't understand why he does what he does. So
You got it. I tell you, I reached a point where I began to retrain my own thinking, right? I did that through a lot of personal development work. These were the things that I had to overcome. And then it was a case of standing in front of somebody else and without a track record, because I'm brand new, right? I don't have all these pretty houses to show anybody. I don't have, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in the bank. So I've got to work through attraction with a little bit of promotion. It's no good promoting something that's not there yet, but the attraction, right? And saying, what would it be like if you came in with us on the ground floor? What a fantastic opportunity that could be for you. We have an intention of buying 10 to 15, maybe 20 single family homes every year for the next 5 years. It would be great if you could come along and join us on that journey. It would be a fantastic opportunity for you. It'd be great to build a relationship, that kind of thing, but believing it, like knowing that that was my intent and that was what I was going to do. So, we overcame that stuff. And then as you progress into the world of real estate investing, it's not just, buying a single family home and making it pretty and selling it. It's not just controlling a single family home purchase and sales contract to wholesale. It's not just, 2-family, 3-family properties and being a landlord. There's so many different components to it. But the one thing I will say is this, Jason, critically important to find the right people to be with you on the journey, because there are sharks out there, man. Like, I don't know if we're PG or whatever, but there's some real serious scumbags out there who will take advantage, will steal a contract, will stab you in the back, will straight up rip you off, all your homeowners. And it was very important for me to maintain integrity through everything. If I was the last one to get paid, then that was the case. I tried to pay me first, like Rich Dad Poor Dad said I should. But at the end of the day, my integrity was more important than a paycheck to me. And that served me well, because that then becomes your reputation in the marketplace. So definitely overcoming my own thinking was number one. And then the second hurdle was finding the right team. Look, the mechanics of real estate investing, running the numbers, knowing your comps, all of that kind of stuff. Anybody can learn that. Anybody can learn that. You can read that in a book. It doesn't mean you're going to get wealthy. Application is what's important. And application happens through teamwork, and finding the right folks to take the journey with you. So I made some mistakes along the way, brother. I didn't get it right every time, honest.
I don't think anyone, if they're being honest, hasn't made mistakes in the journey and stuff like that. I mean, we've all made mistakes. I mean, I remember doing an event, one of our first summit events. I got stuck with thousands of unused sleeper rooms because we just didn't know what we didn't know. And it's like, you make mistakes all the time, but that's how you learn. If you get 1% better every day, really.
Yeah.
And I think what you said is just so important. And one thing is paying yourself. Integrity is important, and then also paying yourself first, because so many people will pay themselves last.
Sure.
I think that's an important shift in just the mindset of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I want to say one of the things too is share like 3 tips for success that you would give people out there that are looking to start real estate investing. What are the 3 main things you would share with them that can help them be successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, man, it's mentorship and guidance, and coaching, whatever you want to call it, right? Nobody of any position of perceived success has done it alone, right? The term self-made millionaire is bullshit. It's not self-made, one guy, one girl. It's teamwork, it's mentorship, it's guidance. So I'm always an academic. I would say mentorship. I would then say education. If I'm this, I always say this, if I'm the smartest guy in any room, I'm in the wrong room, right? I don't want, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't want to be the biggest personality in a room. So mentorship, education, and then as success begins to come, and it will, it's the law of attraction and belief. Being able to identify ego. I'm listening to a book right now called Ego is the Enemy. And it's really pertinent. It's like, I can't forget where I came from, because all the work that I've done to be where I am today, there's still plenty more work to do. I'm still, just a little microcosm on the map. I'm not that important. And if I'm able to keep my ego in check, it then lets me serve others, right? Now I can be of service to other people, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we do. Wealth is created by being of service to other people, right? In some capacity or another. And if those three things resonate, then you're in the right place, right? Mentorship, education, keeping the ego in check, and being of service. And those last two I find go kind of like hand in hand.
No, I think that you made some very good points, keeping the service people, a service first, and keeping the ego in check. Because I think we've all, as entrepreneurs, had times where we have not kept that ego in check, and it has killed us. Because we learn from those mistakes with humility, so we can be a better service to people and help people. So I think those are very powerful points. What I wanted to give you the opportunity is to share some of the exciting real estate projects and projects you're working on with our audience here at the High Performance Success Podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Look, it's, I pinch myself. So I'll give you an example. I was on a call today with a couple of business partners talking about the $27 million build that we're doing in Cape Coral, Florida right now. When I start running these numbers, 22 million is the deal that we're working on right now. I look at my whiteboard, and I can tally up somewhere around $350 million worth of deals that we have in our pipeline. When I talk about, working with a venture capitalist company that wants to write us a check for $500 million, they want to write us a check for $500 million because they know we can put that money to work. That blows my freaking mind, man. It blows my mind, from a guy who, while I was in college in London, I didn't have enough money to buy freaking groceries, and now at 55, almost 56 years old, I'm playing in a totally different sandbox. So what is that sandbox? What are we doing? I've taken the fundamentals of real estate investing from my single family business through to my own portfolio of property that I've owned over the years, which we liquidated recently. I learned multifamily investing. I learned property management. I learned all of these fundamental pieces to be where we are today. Freedom Venture Investments we're a private equity commercial real estate investment company, right? We're a boutique firm, meaning you have access to the operators at the company. When I say boutique, I mean it's still very lean. We run our business lean. And basically what we do is we raise investor capital. We then put that capital into these institutional quality commercial real estate investments that are down in the Florida market. I'm not doing it in Massachusetts where I am. I'm not doing it in California. I'm doing it in the markets that the supply demand, the imbalance is just so far out of whack that it's an anomaly. It's a data-driven anomaly right now because of COVID and all of the other crazy things that we've had to endure in this country over the past few years. It's created massive opportunities. So what we do is we take care of that demand side by building the supply. So right now we're in a 106 unit apartment complex build. I've got approximately 1,000 units of single family build for rent communities in our pipeline. We're working from the Tampa market, a little bit on the West Palm Beach area, but the majority of our business is in Cape Coral and Fort Myers. So when we structure these deals, maybe your listeners are familiar with syndicated assets, where you're raising the LP, the limited partner capital, or think of it as the money down. We have targeted returns 10 to 14% on that capital. equity multiples for our investors are targeted out at 3 to 4 times their initial investments. And these are legitimate deals. I mean, this is sticks and bricks. We recently sent a video update to our investors on the Cape Coral deal, the 106 units, and it was drone footage. It was really cool, man, because the drones are coming in and they're looking at the large bulldozers moving the dirt and bringing everything in. A couple of my investors are like, "Hey, I saw the video. It was awesome." And I go, "Yeah, that's your money in the dirt right there. See it? That's your money going to work with velocity." And, we bring on the debt, construction debt, stabilized debt. We manage them. We stabilize the properties. So we got a lot of work on our side of it. But, it's an exciting time. It's a volatile time. Let's be honest, right? The capital markets are a little squirrely right now, but it'll calm down. Supply chain issues, they'll calm down. Everything will find its level and we'll continue to operate and build. So that's where we're at, man. We're in the dirt, raising money and in the dirt. We just bought a nice family office on one of our projects. They're worth a couple of $1 billion. Imagine that. They come and look at our little project and they go, "I like you guys. Yeah, we'll stroke your check. We'll play in your sandbox." So it's good. I'm blessed. So that's what we're doing now.
No, that's fantastic, Dave. And do you have a way for our audience to reach out to you to get more information, what you're doing, to reach out and connect? Definitely let them know and put that in the chat as well, or just give that out. That'd be great.
Yeah. Look, you can get me directyou. I actually have a phone number, 781-922-4418. Just let them know that you heard us on this podcast. info@freedomventure.com is another way of reaching out with just an email connection. And just, LinkedIn, Google, just Google my name, Dave Seymour, Seymour. You'll find me. I'm no longer on America's Most Wanted, so that's good. I'm joking. You'll be able to track me down if you want to have a conversation. But yeah, it's an exciting time. A lot of people are scared, right? And I think it was Buffett, when everybody is greedy, be fearful. And when everybody is fearful, be greedy. The amount of opportunities that are now in the marketplace that were not there 6 months ago, even 4 months ago, are massive. So we capitalize and then we grab all the good stuff, right? We take down the good deals, and, the investors that are with us they're excited too. It's definitely a family over here at Freedom Venture, so that's where it's at, brother. That's what we're doing.
No, that's awesome, brother. I want to thank you so much for taking your time and sharing your wisdom here on the High Performance System podcast. Thank you again for Dave Seymour. You definitely want to reach out to Dave Seymour from Freedom Investments. Until next time in the High Performance System podcast, I'm your host, Jason Burke. Thank you again.